video is being shown to you under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Hit the like button. Let's go. What's up? It's your girl, Survivor Speaks, and I'm coming to you with the rewind. So we have been looking back on the Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles trial. And so yeah, we're going to continue it today. So I went ahead and gave my fair use disclaimer right at the top. You saw it there. Also, just wanted to let you know the show is sponsored by Restream. You can set up a free account or you can choose from one of their packages. I have my special link in the description, so you can just click on that and take advantage of that if you'd like to do so. And so I don't want to be here all night today. So we're going to get right into it. Now, yesterday Sunday we left off. There was a someone from a medical forensics, I want to say, was on the stand. And today they're going to be looking at a video. Officers are going to be on the stand where when they found out about that Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles, that he was not being forthcoming until they took him into custody, but he wasn't arrested at the time. He was detained, but he was detained in the back of a cop car. So we already know that, yeah, we knew watching that he wasn't going to get back out after that. That was going to be his last time riding from the park, Magnolia Park, to the jail. And then he would be transported after that, handcuffed, shackled, wherever he needs to go. He's where he needs to be. And I don't apologize for that. My heart, thoughts, and prayers go out to the Hernandez family. This is the season of giving. This is the holiday season. And I do know that they are heartbroken, thinking about Grizelda and Dominic Dominic Alexander Hernandez. So yeah, so we represent the Hernandez family by dropping white hearts in the chat. Grizelda's sister Angelica, when the trial was going on, that was something that she was requesting for people that reached out and talked to her and gave them her sympathy or whatever. So she felt really, really good looking at some of the she felt really good looking at some people that were covering the trial, and then to have, see the white hearts drop, it was special to her. And then also, if you remember here, I do have a baby Yoda emoji that was baby Dominic Alexander's his favorite one of his favorite people was Baby Yoda, the character Baby Yoda. So I have that, for members. You can drop those as you like. If you're not a member and you're here watching, hit the like button and drop some white hearts in the chat for the Hernandez family on the loss of their loved ones at the hands of this monster. So like I said, we're going to get right into it today. Without further ado, let me get in here and get this up on the stage here. And as I stated, as you're coming in, even if you're going to be in the bushes, hit the like button. hit the like button so that your girl gets pushed out into the algorithm.
Good afternoon.
And I thank and appreciate you all for being here. Let's
My name is
go.
Grizelda Hernandez.
And how long have you been employed with LPD?
11 years.
What are the tasks? How are you employed? What are your assignments?
I'm a patrol officer. I'm assigned to the Patrol West.
And what were your assignments back in April of 2018?
I was assigned to beat 20 with the Frank platoon.
Is that near Father McNamara or?
That's a site, the next district over, towards the east.
Now, do you recall going out to an investigation on April 9th of 2018?
I do.
And do you recall what the service call was called in as?
Yes, I do.
What was that?
It was a call for assistance by Border Patrol that they found a dead body.
Okay. Do you know approximately what time you arrived?
I don't recall.
Which area where did you park your vehicle when you arrived there?
I parked at the intersection of Bristol and Allen.
And so you walked from Bristol and Allen over to the area where, did you meet other officers there?
So what happened is when I parked there, the ambulance personnel were leaving, and they just directed me to where the scene was.
Okay, now I'm going to direct your attention to State's Exhibit 97.1. And if you can just guide me and tell me, where is it that you said you parked?
Hello, I'm just pausing
northeast
just
corner.
a little bit just so I can say hello to you. I was wondering if you were going to come over here from Catch Chat, so I am glad to see that you're here today. I enjoy our conversations while this trial has been going on. Welcome, 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 and thank you so much for coming. And we'll talk. Let's get this back up here. We're going to see. It's going to be interesting today, Loa, because they're going to be showing him. Once they detained him, when they found out that he was the person that they were actually looking for, they detained him. So they're going to show his actions once, he was placed into the cop car. So this is a really exciting day. I love to see him getting put in the cop car again, even though we already know, we talked about that yesterday. We got to remember that this already happened and the outcome of it. So just wanted to say hello to you, let you know that I remember Loa. I got it right. I'll never forget it again. So here we go. All right. I think
Approximately, what did you do when you first got there?
So right there, the Border Patrol are kind of, all the ones that are there, they're kind of roaming freely. So I kind of tell them, hey, we got to condense this crime scene. So everybody get on the island, I would call it, the island that's right there in the middle, and get away from the dirt road, so to preserve the scene as much as we could.
Okay, now I'm going to show you.
Oh, I didn't realize I turned my camera off.
Exhibit
Here I go.
513. And you arrived by these, you saw these
Oh,
two
thank
units?
you, Loa. Thank you
This is
so
where
much.
you were in?
That's the island.
Maybe they will.
And
I don't know where she's
was there already
redirecting.
something
She normally
They were working on
redirects her
securing it.
string, but I'm
The
not
Border Patrol
sure.
agents, I believe they had given them voluntary statements to start
thank
filling out.
you for that.
They were doing that by the trucks, so I told them, hey, let's just stay off the dirt, so we don't disturb any of the scene, and let's do it right here by the island that was there, the brushy area.
And so you mentioned how many units were there and how many Border Patrol. How about LPD presence? How much LPD presence was there at this time?
There were several. There was already detectives on scene too.
Okay. And what did you, after you secured the scene or after you asked the BP agents to, I guess, stay behind a certain area, what else did you do, if anything?
At that time, one of the Border Patrol agents, he was wearing a different uniform. He was wearing a life vest. So he was from the boat unit. He ended up telling me later. He's like, hey, there's some tracks that I want you to see. Can I show them to you? And so I told him, yeah, show me. Let's see what you're talking about.
Okay. And so that led you away from this area?
Correct.
And this area, did you do anything, other tasks while you were at this little area where the original scene that you walked up on?
From just seeing the scene and securing it, as directing the Border Patrol to the scene, I was able to see the body. That's the only thing that I saw.
Okay. And then did you make your way over to any other area of the Father McNamara complex?
Yes, so we did. He went to go show me the tracks that he was talking about. So we made it to the first track, and we followed the track all the way to we can't see it anymore.
Okay. And where did it lead you to? Which area? I'm going to show you. Let me show you the map again. That's State's Exhibit 97.1. And so you were initially in this area,
Correct.
and then you, and this, you said boat, like boat, Border Patrol agent?
He was. I would call him on my report. I call him a boat guy. He was
Okay.
from the boat unit.
And which area did you go? Did you walk this way?
We actually walked west and north towards the soccer field. Went through that dirt road that's there.
So you went.
Correct.
So you went up this way?
Correct.
So another little curve?
Yes.
Another little trail?
Yes, it was a dirt path.
Okay. And then eventually where did you end up?
We end up at the soccer fields on that clear area that's right. Yes.
Okay.
We ended up there.
Okay, so then once you're there, do you go back to the scene?
No, did not.
And once you were there, did you meet up with anybody else? Did you have
Yes.
any contact with anyone else?
Yes, when we were there, Lieutenant Ramirez, he showed up, and that's who we. I talked to him. I showed him the tracks, the trails where we last saw him. We saw him behind the goalpost.
Mhm.
So I showed him those, and then he's like, "Let's make it to the park." He thinks that they said over the radio that they had already seen somebody or seen a car at the park.
Okay, and so you guys make your way over to where in this area is this? Which way did you go?
We continued north,
Okay.
and just north of that baseball field that you're at.
Yes.
There's a soccer field just north of it.
This
So we
one?
walked through there
Uh-huh.
down to the car. The car was right there, just west. There you go.
And so this is, now I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 172. Oh, no, this is right. 511, I think is a better view. This is the baseball field, and
That's correct. That's a soccer field.
this is the one that you said you walked through?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, is this the way the vehicles were situated when you walked up to this area, you along with Lieutenant Ramirez?
No, only the vehicle, only the white vehicle was there at the time.
Okay. And so did, who, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit. Oh. Whose vehicle is this?
That's Detective Reyes.
Was he there when you showed up?
He showed up just almost at the same time or a little after.
Okay, so explain to me, to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what happened when, so you show up here to this area, this parking lot area.
Yes.
You see the Mercedes.
Correct.
Who else was present?
Low, I got, yeah.
Lieutenant Reyes was there.
Okay.
The Detective Reyes was there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up
Lieutenant
around
Ramirez,
that.
I'm sorry. Detective
time.
Reyes. And there's some other police personnel. I don't recall everybody.
And at this time, there had already been some communications over the radio regarding the vehicle.
Correct.
Okay. And was there anything, any radio communications that prompted you to take action at that scene?
So what happened is that over the radio, the detectives that went to the registered owner's residence, they came over the radio and said that the person that was using that car at the time was probably, a Border Patrol agent at the Father Magnoble Park.
Okay.
The transmission that came in was the boyfriend's name was Anthony Burgos.
Okay. And explain to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury the exchanges that happened at that time.
So when Anthony Burgos, when the radio transmission came up for Anthony Burgos, there was only one Border Patrol agent that was at that location with us. I had just seen him. I had never seen this person before. I see him. He's right near the car, and so I wave him over. I say, "Hey, come here." As he's walking up to us, the name says Burgos. So we look at the name. I'm looking at the name as he's coming over, and I'm just like, "Hey, I think this is the person they just called over the radio." But they said Anthony, and I look at the first name, and it's an R, Burgos. So as I'm looking at him, he has supervisor rank. So I'm looking at him. Hey, is there another Burgos that's here? And he says there was one, but I think he transferred. And that's where we're at there at that point.
Okay. And what was going on while you were having this discussion?
So the detectives that were with the registered owner, they asked Reyes to get on the 21, which means the phone. So they're asking for a phone call so we can transmit exactly what's going on.
Okay. So at that point, you were having this discussion or this quick exchange with Mr. Burgos. Where was Detective Reyes?
He was
More or
a few.
less.
He was a few feet in front of him. He was probably by the truck.
Okay.
Right by his truck.
And so, what was there an exchange between Detective Reyes and you, or Detective Reyes and Mr. Burgos?
So we all knew that his name was Burgos, but he had the R in front. So Detective Reyes tells him, "Hey, what's your name, man?" And he says, "Ronald Burgos." And we're looking for Anthony Burgos. And radio transmissions are coming through, and so it's kind of getting a little hectic. Reyes, I'm walking next to him. I'm the only uniformed officer. So I'm right next to him, and he says, "Hey, man, what's your name?" And then Burgos says, "Ronald Burgos Aviles." He only uses his last names. So then Rick's like, "What's your fucking name, dude? Why are you not telling me your name? What's your fucking name?" And then he says, "My name's Ronald Burgos Aviles." And he says, "You're not telling me your name. Do you have an ID or something?" And he's like, "No, I don't have an ID."
And where were you when this was happening? How far were you from Mr. Burgos?
I was within arm's reach. So as actually it's happening, Burgos, he reaches down towards his belt. He's actually wearing a gun. Which is why when he reaches down towards his gun, and I just grab his arm and tell him, "Hey, dude, just calm down." So I push his arm. He's like, "Hey, I don't want any problems." And he looks at me. I'm the only one with the gun that he can see. So he says, "Hey, I don't want problems." He puts his hands up just like this, and then he puts his hands like this, like he's motioning, "I'm gonna take off my gun for you." Like he's giving us the the presence that he's gonna take off his gun. He doesn't want to be a threat. So he reaches down, he unbuckles his belt, his duty belt, and at this point I'm already grabbing it from the back just in case something happens. So as I'm grabbing it, he drops his belt and it just falls to my hand, and I just grab it and I pull it off of him.
And so I guess the weight of the belt, that's why it fell into your hand.
It just fell into my hand. I was already grabbing it, but I just had control of it, so I just pulled it right off.
Okay. And what did you do with this belt?
So the belt, I actually secured it. I put it in the back of Detective Reyes' vehicle.
Okay. And did you at that point, at any point, did you ask for a unit to be brought over?
Yes. As time went on, for another
Who was the driver of that unit?
Castillo.
And when you had him there, the unit was not there when this initially happened?
It was not.
Did you or did Detective Reyes secure him or check to see if he had any weapons, or what'd you do?
Yes. So once I took the belt off, I put it behind his unit, and then I patted him down as the unit came here, approached us. So I patted him down. I located a phone on him and a driver's license in his shirt pocket.
Okay, so, and what did you do with those two items?
I turned over the driver's license to Detective Reyes, and the cell phone I put it with his property that I had already taken, which was Sam Brown. I put it in
The back of Reyes' truck?
Correct.
Okay. And did you accompany Officer Lizette Castillo to the station?
I did.
And at some point, was Mr. Burgos transported to Laredo Police Department?
Yes.
Okay. While you were there, did Mr. Burgos ask, what kind of exchange did you have with him after you secured the driver's license and the phone?
So after that, we put him in the unit, uncuffed. I told him, hey, look, we're going to put you in the unit. We're going to take you to the station, and we'll talk there. As I put him in the unit, he asked me about his kids. He wanted to pick up his kids, or who could pick up his kids. So he was trying to figure out where he was going. And then we sat down in the car ready to leave, and he told us, hey, can I at least take off my shirt? I want to take off my shirt. It's an embarrassment, man. That's what he said. So I said, okay, yeah, I'll let you take off your shirt. So I got off the unit again. I opened the door for him. He stepped out. He took off his shirt, and he gave it to me.
And did you leave that shirt with you in the unit, or did you place that in Detective Reyes' vehicle?
No, I actually folded it and I put it in the unit with me.
What is the number? Yeah, and at this time, the state would like to publish State Exhibit 80 is the dash cam.
All right.
Strap it in, buddy boy.
No, just like, why don't you come in here for? We're gonna take you in just right now, because you met the meeting. Oh, wait, we're gonna take you. We're gonna talk to your supervisor first, and then we'll, what time did you come in today? At 6 in the morning. 6 in the morning? Yeah. And what time you get off? We're just gonna talk to your supervisor, and then we'll. Hey, let me talk to him over there. Yeah. For the embarrassment that went through right now, can you please tell me why am I here?
No,
I know
yeah, you know why, because I asked you these questions, and then, look, if those who come over here to meet Greg, the VP, your VP, last name Burgos, first name Anthony, I asked you your name, what did you say? Ronald, you didn't mention Anthony.
And they mentioned I'll be listening here.
Okay, I know, but come on, you're VP.
I was
You have common sense, you know. So, I have to do it, we have to do it, take you in, what comes up with me, we need to go and talk to you.
No, I understand, that's what I
Okay.
want.
Because we're gonna go talk to you right now, that's it.
Can I take me over?
To the police department. Yeah, you can go down to the station and talk to you there,
Oh, yes.
okay?
Oh, yes.
Monday.
Let me call my soup. Let me call my soup, baby. It's gonna be fucking embarrassing, alright? It's gonna be embarrassing.
What, give me his number.
956 764
For what?
3851.
What's his name?
Luis Uribe. You can put him on speaker outside.
Luis what?
Uribe.
Were you riding for yourself or were you riding with somebody?
Well, I was with myself.
In a truck or in the Ford? In the Ford.
In the truck.
Truck?
Yes.
Hey, there. No?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, brother. 764-351-351, yes.
What is it that he's doing in that scene?
He's wiping his arms. He's cleaning something off. Or
What was it that he did right before he wiped his arms?
he licked his finger.
What was it that was just said?
Los teléfonos.
Hey, brother. What's your other last name? Your last name, your other one.
Okay.
Aviles.
He forgot he left them phones.
That you by the door?
The one panning down, that's Officer Lizette Castillo.
Yes. Right. The one from school. Okay. How did one appear with him? He's back in here or something? Wow. Jennifer? Nice. Hey. Okay. Yeah, no. No, that's good.
You going somewhere? I thought we were going to go to the lady, so she can, ID me or whatever.
Now, had you heard Detective Reyes when he advised him that he was going to the station?
Yes.
Had you heard Detective Reyes say that he was going to go see some lady?
No.
Sister or? That's what he said. Huh? Yeah, but the one who told me right now, only if that was the plan. You mind if I ask him a question? There you go, Moyer. Because you told me we're going to go to the lady's house, so you can ID me. You're not going to let her? The one that she's saying my name, no. The one that is accusing me. No, nobody's accusing you. Yeah, I mean, if they were accusing me, it wouldn't be the same job. No. You know what happened, right? Yeah, you know what happened. They went to the station. Exactly. So he said that somebody said my name, right? Yeah. And somebody accused me. No. So that's why he put me here. So I want to know if that's where we're going. We want to take this straight. Yes. All right. take this off. My shirt. Yes. Or you do want, you can take it off for me. Put it in the front, it makes you feel better. Well, there's no way in here, man. I'm gonna come out the embarrassing picture with some dumb shit. Where am I going? So, I'm fine with you? Yeah. All right.
Is that you?
That's me taking a shirt. Well, he's giving it to me.
I think it was 10, Judge.
10?
Yes. Now, Officer Electris, is this the shirt that you're referring to?
That's correct. That's the shirt he gave me.
And this is the name tag you're referring to?
That's correct.
Which pocket was it that his driver's license was in?
It was on his right pocket.
And this is the driver's license that he said he did not have?
Correct.
Okay.
Anthony, what you guys got out the front? On the business, on the family, so it's not moving, right? Absolutely. So I would think that we'll go over. No, we don't have to. Okay, right. See all that? Don't get there. Get it divided. That in the back of his hand. The back of his arm. Okay, what? No, I'm straight, man. You just up in my shoes, man.
He's the worst.
Do you have, I mean, do you just want to show the ride, or is there going to be any more speaking in there or whatnot?
No, we do want the complete,
I'm sorry, what?
we are asking that the complete video be published.
But there's nothing being said?
But we want the behavior to be seen. There's actions in there. It's,
All right. All right,
there's 12 more minutes, Your Honor.
I know. Go ahead.
He is literally wiping blood droplets off his arms.
Come on, man. Oh yeah, he could have just told me straight up, man. So don't make me go forward. Big ordeal.
I don't think this is his first time. I think he did something before.
Now, Officer De La Cruz, when you arrived to the Laredo Police Department, and did anything happen when you were transporting from the unit into LPD?
Yes, so we parked in the Sally Port. I got off, I was a riding passenger, so I got off the vehicle and I opened the door for him. I tell him to step out. He steps out and he immediately turns around and puts his hands behind his back. And I asked him, "What are you doing, man?" And he's like, I know the drill. I know the deal. And I was like, "You're not under arrest, or you're just being detained. You just gotta clear your name." That's exactly what I told him.
And so, from where did he go, from the Sally Port, where did he move from there?
I took him to upstairs to the Capers Division interview room, number 2, I believe.
After that, did you have any other communications with him?
I did speak with him. I asked him if he wanted water. I brought him a water. And then he asked me if he could make arrangements for his children to get picked up.
But it was minimal, but that was the extent of your
That was
conversation.
it.
Now, before I pass the witness, I would like to ask or clarify something. Earlier, while you were at the scene, you mentioned that this boat guy directed you to some tracks. Were you talking about stroller tracks or footprints?
So there was a stroller markings all the way down the track, and then there was foot markings also.
Okay, and how many units or how many agents, federal agents or police officers were there at the scene at this time?
There was a lot.
So it's possible that these tracks may have been from any one of those officers?
Correct.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Officer De La Cruz.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
How are we doing? Officer De La Cruz, when you arrived at the crime scene, you were concerned about preserving the integrity of the crime scene. It was because there were approximately 30 police officers, about 4 Border Patrol agents, and several EMTs at the scene, correct?
There were several people, correct.
And there was also a helicopter hovering overhead.
I don't recall a helicopter.
You don't recall that? But it's fair to say that the crime scene was fairly chaotic when you arrived.
There was a lot of people, yes, correct.
Yeah. Now, when Mr. Aviles, Mr. Burgos was questioned about his identity, he cooperated and answered by providing his full name, Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles, correct?
No, he did not.
No, he didn't.
At no point did he give his correct name?
Yes, he did. Later on, he did.
Okay, well, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh, towards the end of our interaction there at the place, he did.
Okay. And he attempted to rest his hands on his gun belt, correct?
Correct.
But you wiped his arm away from his gun belt?
I didn't wipe it. I just maintained his hand
Oh,
up
I
away from his
Okay.
gun.
A little bit earlier, I thought I heard you say that you reached for his gun, but that never really happened, did it?
said that he reached for his gun. Is that what your question?
Yeah.
No, I did not. I said he put his hand down towards his gun.
Okay, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. You did not interpret that as a threatening gesture, correct?
No, I made sure it didn't get to that point.
All right. So he was generally cooperative when he realized that he was going to be detained, isn't that correct?
He cooperated to an extent.
And at one point, he requested to be allowed to remove his Border Patrol shirt because he was embarrassed for anyone to see a Border Patrol agent being detained in a police car, correct?
Yes, he was really concentrating on that. He wanted to make sure that nobody knew that he was a Border Patrol agent.
And you assisted him in removing his shirt, didn't you?
Well, he took it off. He handed it to me.
You were standing close to him?
I was right there.
You didn't see any blood on his arms or his hands or his shirt or anywhere on him?
The detective pointed it out.
Point to point out.
That he had some markings. He said, I don't know if you saw it on video. He says that he tells him, look at his elbow and his hands. Make sure the CSI. He tells me, make sure you tell the CSI that he's informing me to make sure that I let somebody else know that they can take pictures of that. That was in the video. You could see it.
So you're saying he had blood on his arm?
No, he had some scratch or some kind of
My
marking.
question, sir, was whether there was any blood on him that you saw. That was my question.
That's what the detective pointed out. That's what I'm
He
saying.
pointed out blood?
He said that he had markings.
Again, sir, my question is, did you see any blood on
Just what he pointed out. I saw markings.
a marking? Okay. So to answer my question, you did not see any blood on Mr. Burgos' arms?
Just the markings that were pointed out by the detective.
Okay, thank you. And when Mr. Burgos is seen wiping his face in the car, that was because he was crying and wiping away the tears. Isn't that correct?
Objection.
Oh.
Speculation.
Overruled. That's your question.
Can you ask that one more time?
Yes, you saw the video that was just played, right?
Correct.
And in parts of it, Mr. Burgos is seen wiping his face,
He was wiping his face.
probably because he was crying, correct?
Objection, Your Honor. Cause for speculation.
Overruled.
I never heard him crying. No, I did not.
Okay. Now, at the point where Mr. Burgos mumbled teléfonos, just a moment earlier, he had requested a telephone so that he could call his supervisor, isn't that correct?
He asked the detective if he could call his supervisor.
And that was right, well, shortly before he is seen and heard whispering teléfono.
He says teléfonos, and it was after. Correct.
Okay. I'll pass the word.
Anything else?
Yes, Your Honor. Were you present when Burgos asked that he be taken to the lady or the sister that was to identify him?
I was. He was asking me.
He was asking you?
Correct.
And was he asking you to take him to which detective?
No, he was asking to see if we could take him to. What I think is he heard that the detectives on scene were talking about the detectives were at the registered owner's residence. So he's hearing that conversation and he's asking, are we taking him over there?
Now, you are familiar with CSI, some processes that are done by CSI?
Correct.
Are you familiar if any swabbings are taken by CSI?
They do take him.
What about nail clippings?
They do take him.
Did you observe Mr. Burgos' behavior in the unit?
I did.
Did you see him doing anything to his nails?
He was biting on his nose.
And when you removed, or when you were behind him at the scene where the Mercedes was, and you said the weight of his utility belt, or what is it also called, the Sam Brown?
Sam Brown or duty belt?
Is that typical for it to fall down when they unsnap that?
No, it's not.
Why not?
So it usually has a retention device, either a belt keeper or Velcro that it stays onto the inner belt.
Were there any bell keepers?
No, there's not.
I have no further questions.
Nothing further.
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
So yes, that one I'm going to just put up the next part of it, so that way I can be off in enough time for the other. Hold on one second. Let me make sure this is in order. So we can go over to the other. Yeah, he may. So I guess, yeah, this is it. And they moved us over again. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, he forgot he took the phones and left the phones in the truck, the baby's phone and Grizelda's phone. Left it in the truck, so that's why I came to him when he was in the back of the car. He's like, telephonos.
Good morning.
So, of course, his attorney is trying to do away with that, but
So the court reporter can hear you?
we understand why he said that.
Speak up nice and loud, please. Can you please state your name for the record?
Yes, Alberto Cortez Jr.
And
Yes.
are you currently employed?
with the City of Laredo as a police officer.
Okay. And how long have you been with the police department?
18 years.
Okay, and what type of duties?
I am patrol officer. I work shift work. I patrol the streets for all of my 18 years as a patrolman.
As part of working the streets, do you respond to emergency calls?
Yes, sir, that is correct. Every type and any type of call.
And are you a licensed peace officer
Yes, sir, that is correct.
from the state of Texas?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want to focus your attention to April the 9th, 2018. You remember that day?
Yes, sir.
Were you
Oh,
on duty that
okay.
morning?
That is correct.
Okay. What time did you come on duty that morning?
At 6 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, and what was going to be your shift?
It's that morning, 6 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay. Did you receive any calls on that morning?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please tell the ladies and gentlemen jury what type of call you received.
That morning, more or less around 11:30 a.m., I received a call of a female down by Bristol and Riverbank Road, which is located in Mines Road, with lacerations to her head. While en route to that call, my dispatchers informed me that she was possibly deceased.
Okay. And did you proceed to that? Can I ask you to show the jury where you arrived and what you did when you arrived on the map,
Yes, sir.
Your Honor? Can I?
Yeah. Can you put that, turn that on, put it in your pocket and put that on your tie?
Spit it on your hand, officer.
I got a recommendation. I need this group in Texas to go to Fulton County and train them, because they don't,
Yes.
or have them fly down to them, do some shadowing, so you can properly learn your job.
You got a call to respond to Father Mackable Park?
Yes, off of Bristol, yes.
Off of Bristol. Can you identify Bristol on this map?
Yes, this is Bristol. If the map extends further, Mines Road is here, and it intersects with Bristol Road. So I proceeded north on Mines, and then west on Bristol Road.
Okay. Did you gain entry into the park area?
Yes, at the very end, there was a gate that was already open. Upon arrival, the ambulance, the City of Laredo paramedics, the ambulance was already parked outside. I parked, and I walked down to the trail.
Okay. Did you come in contact with anybody?
Yes, while on my way down, two paramedics were on the way up, and I asked them, more or less, where is everybody? They said, follow the dirt trail, and you'll see the body, and you see the USBP agents down there.
Did you come in contact with a BP agent by the name of Dennison?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So show the jury on this map where you parked your car. You can show
Okay.
with your finger, and then the path you walked to the
Okay.
area where the agents were.
So, again, here on Bristol, I walked on foot due to the fact that the dirt path trail, very bumpy, didn't think my unit would make it. I don't want to get stuck. So when I walked all the way down the trail, this part right here looks like an island. This is where BP units were stationed. 4 to 5 United States Border Patrol agents were located here. Lifeless female body was about right here. She was facing eastbound. And upon me being a police officer, secured the crime scene, looked for any evidence, any clues, anything out of the ordinary. As I began to canvass the crime scene, in better words, I was walking around this grassy on the edge. There was one USBP agent, Agent Dennison, already ahead of me. He was already south. I passed the female body. I did look at her. I observed she was barefooted. She was face down. Lots of blood. Can you hear me? Yes, lots of blood around her upper middle torso on the dirt. And continuing my path southbound, I saw blood drops on the dirt. At this time, Agent Dennison said out loud, I found another body.
Okay. Stop right there.
Okay.
Have a seat. Thank you. Pictures of the female. Okay. Now, you said that you saw a lot of blood.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna show you this blood. States Exhibit 254. Is this the type of blood that you saw?
That is correct, sir.
You also said that there was, and you didn't walk on the, where were you walking? Let me ask you that question.
On the grass, where the grass and the dirt meet, right on that.
So you stayed on the
Boundary,
edge of the
yes.
path? You did not disturb the dirt?
No, no, sir.
Okay. And here, for example, States Exhibit 229. Some of the blood drops that you saw.
That is correct.
States Exhibit 255. You recognize what's in 255?
Ooh.
Yes, sir. That is what I saw.
What is the vantage point from here?
Where USBP agents, they were north of where this blood was at. This is where the female body was at.
So what direction are we looking at here?
South, southbound.
And you walk along which side here, looking at this image?
I walk on the right side, the east side,
Okay.
the west side, I'm sorry.
Because you're west side grass?
Yes, where the cones are 2, 3 on that.
Okay. Now, those cones weren't there when you got here, correct?
No, those markers were not.
In fact, tell the ladies there with the jury, were you the first officer that arrived?
Yes, that is correct.
You were the first official Laredo police officer to arrive?
Yes.
And this location falls within your jurisdiction?
No. Each officer is assigned a certain area. I got dispatched to be there.
No, but what I'm saying, it's within the city.
Oh, yes, that is correct. Yes.
Okay, so this is within the city limits?
Yes.
What county is this?
Webb County.
So the body's in the city of Laredo and Webb County?
Yes.
What do you do as the first responding police officer?
First thing is scene. Obviously, a crime scene is secure the crime scene.
What does that entail?
To preserve as much evidence, not to let anyone of unauthorized personnel try to destroy any evidence. So therefore, as officers, we have crime scene tape, the yellow crime scene tape. So I began to secure the crime scene around the grass area.
So you are the person that put the crime scene tape up that morning?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Now, you told the jury that you see a female.
Yes.
Okay, you've described that there was a lot of blood.
Yes.
Okay. What was your impression of what had happened?
Any prudent person will see a lifeless, motionless body to come to the conclusion that she was deceased.
But at that time, the opinion as to how she was deceased based on what you're seeing, what you're assessing, are you making an assessment?
No, she was brutally attacked.
Now you
Mr. Under the approach, please.
They upset because he said she was brutally attacked. She was. And your client is an idiot. The defendant is a real idiot. You should hear some of the disparaging things he said about her in the interrogation. It's really sickening.
I want to pick up where you said you saw Agent Dennison.
Okay.
Okay. You were testifying that he was on the same west side of the brush where you were, right?
That is correct.
Okay. You also testified that he said that there was a body.
That is correct.
Okay. What happens at that point? Or what do you do at that point?
At that point, he was ahead of me, southbound. When I heard him say, "I found another body," I walked towards his direction, to his location. He was no longer on the dirt path. He was in the brush. And when I arrived there at the brush with Agent Dennison, I observed a motionless little boy as well.
Describe to someone of the jury what you saw, or when you saw the little boy. If you can describe what you saw.
Of course. Little brown booties, little brown boy booties, blue jeans that were covered in blood, freshly haircut. And what caught more of my attention was the way the body was positioned, he was placed. He wasn't thrown, he was placed. It's as if someone had placed him down.
Did you see any injuries?
Yes, lots of blood around the neck area, and that came down. I said again, blood on the blue jeans as well.
Okay. Permission to approach him.
They should make him pay attention. Look forward. You did it. Just wanted to say while they're doing this is a trigger warning. Trigger warning. I believe that he's going to show baby Dominic's shoes and pants and shirt. So I'm just letting everybody know that they do show just the bloody clothing. And it's disturbing to know that
Exhibit 26.
baby Dominic was wearing, you know, this stuff. And also Grizelda's, I think they have her jeans there as well, if I remember correctly. Yep, this is baby Dominic's shirt with Yoda on it.
These are, I think, already, or we'll move to introducing the evidence.
Which are they again?
This will be
Yeah, he already saw it. He did it. He was up close and personal. So, yeah,
24, 25, and 26?
he should just keep being who he is.
yes.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Admitted without objection.
An evil idiot. I'm
W
sorry, I just
64.
get so mad. This just, yeah.
Can the witness step down so I can show him?
Right here.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 26. And if you can identify when you recognize this.
Yes, now I remember. T-shirt. Yes, sir.
Did you see any other injuries on the baby? How close were you to the baby?
Standing right over the body.
How many injuries did you observe on the baby?
I only observed
Close to.
the neck area.
Did you notice any cuts, incisions, or tears on the shirt?
No, no damage, just the blood.
So the shirt is intact.
Yes, sir.
The baby you said was wearing jeans.
Yes, sir.
And I'm showing you State's Exhibit 25. You said you recognize these jeans.
Yes.
And you said that he had a large amount of blood.
Continue your witness, please.
And what was the conditions of the jeans?
Blood-soaked jeans.
And finally, you said that he was wearing. What was he wearing on his feet?
Brown booties. Brown little boy booties.
State's Exhibit 24.
Yes, sir.
Permission to publish these two, Jerry. I'm just gonna show.
I don't need to.
Just to show it to them.
I think they see all right.
And that's DA, the lead DA,
What do you do after that?
Alanis. He needs to teach a class.
At that point, I began to secure the crime scene with the crime scene yellow tape. Right before that, I did also locate a white, off-white woman's shoe that was in the general vicinity from where I was standing. I began to do the crime scene tape in a way of a path, knowing that investigators and other authorized personnel would be making their way down to this crime scene. So I formed a path with the crime scene tape so they could follow when they arrived.
And Agent Dennison was in front of you this whole
Yes,
time?
he was with me. Yes, yes, sir.
And you were with him when the shoe was found?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. What else did you do that morning with respect to your duties in this case?
After the scene was secured,
Yes.
I told Agent Dennison if he could escort me back to my patrol unit, which was in the very top of Bristol, if he was willing to provide a voluntary statement.
Okay. And did you have the opportunity to hand out statements?
Yes, to Agent Dennison.
Okay, just to him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you remember his demeanor at the time?
He was, while we were back in my patrol unit where I keep my voluntary statements, my paperwork, something important was broadcasted over our radio, and
Let me stop you.
I'm
there.
sorry.
When you said something was broadcasted over your radio, which radio are you talking about?
my assigned portable unit that's issued by the Laredo Police Department.
Are you wearing that today?
Yes, yes.
Okay. And that radio, you had it on that morning?
Yes, sir.
And is it audible,
Yes.
loud,
Yes, yes, sir.
and you hear communications?
Yes, sir. That morning I had it on my chest with a clip. The only reason I have it here today is for the time.
Okay. And what communication came over the radio that morning?
It was broadcasted. Possible suspect, Burgos. That was broadcasted over my P unit, portable unit.
What was your reaction at that time? But when you heard Burgos, what did that, did it mean anything to you at all?
No, no, sir.
Did Dennison?
Dennison was in close proximity where he could hear the broadcast on my radio.
Did he have any reaction?
He was appalled.
How do you know? What was his demeanor?
He was in shock.
This witness cannot testify as to somebody else.
I'm asking about his demeanor when you heard the broadcast. Dennison was in front of him. He can testify as to what the agent's physical demeanor was when the broadcast came out.
We'll stick with the demeanor, but nothing with regard to what he said, sir. This has been instructed. You understand it?
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Thank
I'm
you.
asking me you have your radio.
Yes, sir.
The name Burgos comes out.
Yes, sir.
It means nothing to you.
No, no, sir.
Do you see a physical change in Agent Dennison?
Yes, sir.
To you, what do you see this physical change?
He was in shock.
What makes you say that? Without anything he may have said, what makes you give
The head jerking to the back, the typical of any person when you're in shock, the movement of your head, the opening of the eyes, the nodding of the head. He wasn't shocked.
Did you document that
Yes, sir.
as a witness?
Good morning, officer.
Hi, good morning.
Officer, at what time did you arrive at the crime scene?
I'm sorry, Mr. Van, just one favor, just turn it towards you. Thank you.
At what time did you?
By the time I was dispatched, not maybe 10 minutes, 10 to 12, 15 minutes.
At what time of the day would that have been?
This was in the morning. I believe the call was sent out, dispatched to us around 11:30-ish a.m.
So you must have arrived about 11:45, more or less?
More or less, that is correct, sir.
And you said that you began to secure the crime scene?
Yes, sir.
So until you began to secure the crime scene had not been secured, correct?
That is correct.
And there were many law enforcement officers, border patrol agents, and EMTs at the scene when you arrived, correct?
The EMTs were already back on the way up on the trail, and there were about 4 to 5 United States Border Patrol agents.
And you saw Mr. Burgos there at the...
I saw many of them, yeah. But sitting here, I recognize him, yes.
And he appeared to be in shock as well as Agent Dennison, correct?
No,
That was not your impression?
no, sir.
So you're saying that he appeared to be normal to you?
Yes, sir.
All right. No further questions, Your Honor.
It's on video, sir.
We're going to take a real quick break so that we can push it a little bit. We won't.
So let me see if I have another, Loa, let me know in the chat here if you need to take a break before we go over to Flesh of the Gods. Let me just see what's next and how long it is. We're not going to do our regular, because everybody's borrowing time, like there's so many places we have to be, right? So I'm trying to take that into consideration, and let me just see. Sir, thank you. Yeah, this one is like 33 minutes. So after this one, y'all go ahead and just close it out. And that way, because what time is it? You'll be able to, yeah, you should be able to have some time. Hold on 1 second. This screen up here. Thank you.
Yes.
Request to publish on Iki or Homo, Your Honor?
It says that it contains a seatbelt buckle from, I can't read what this says, but it says from a stroller.
Okay. And you conducted analysis on this item?
Yes.
Request to publish on Iki or Homo, Your Honor? States Exhibit 47.4 for your record. Is that the belt buckle?
Yes. Would you mind turning the label around so I can see what exhibit number? Thank you. Yes.
And you said again that, what were your findings in regards to this item?
So on that item, I took a swab from that item, and Grizelda Hernandez was not excluded as a source of the human DNA on that item.
Thank you. And what does not excluded mean?
Not excluded means that when I comparison between the unknown profile and known profiles of the three individuals, that there was a match between the profile of Grizelda Hernandez and that item.
Okay, so let's move on. So now, let me show you State's Exhibit 4. Can I approach around? So can you tell us what this pertains to in your report?
So State's Exhibit 4 is my Exhibit 15-8. That's on a separate report. That's not on this report.
It's on State's Exhibit. So would that be on State's Exhibit 520?
Is this the serology report from February?
February 5th?
Yes.
Let me try to zoom out. So what does State's Exhibit 4 correspond to in this report?
So they're labeled as two DNA swabs, and I labeled them as, there's two items in here, and so they were subbed out as 15-8-1 and 15-8-2, and I labeled them as swab from R. Burgos Aviles.
Now I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 7, Your Honor.
Approach liberally, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you tell us where that corresponds to the reports would be the February?
Yes, this would be the February 5th serology report as well. This is my item 15-7. There's 4 items in this envelope, which I subbed out. They're all 4 swabs. The 2 first ones, number 1 and number 2, are from a Cricket cell phone, back and front, and then items 3 and 4 are from a Samsung cell phone, front and back.
And what is your, I guess I'll go ahead and show State's Exhibit 20. Can you tell us what your findings concluded in regards to these items? I guess we can take it first with Grizelda.
21, was that one of the ones that was originally admitted?
Yes, Your Honor.
But we don't have it as admitted.
Wait,
Do you have it, Cindy? Can you check your list? 21?
521.
Yeah, it's 521. I had asked.
Oh, 521.
It was about
We
6
heard you say
reports.
21.
No, 521, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Right.
So again, can you tell us what the findings were in regards to the items that you just stated are State's Exhibit
7?
7?
So just to clarify, for serology purposes, for the screening of the items, the 4 items in State's Exhibit 7, which were my 15-7-1, 2, 3, and 4, they all were positive for the presumptive presence of blood. Do you want me to cover 15-8 as well, the previous?
Yes.
So 15-8, they were just retained because they were just swabs taken from an individual. They didn't have any biological soiling on them. So they were one of those touch DNA swabs that I described, so I just retained them without any presumptive testing. And then do you want me to
Yes.
look at the DNA results?
Yes, and what were the results? Your findings? And then you can kind of direct us to the page number of the report.
Yes, I'm trying to find them first on my
No
report.
worries.
Okay, so we're looking at 15-7, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
If it'll help, what page is that? Will you direct a witness to that page, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
I think you already had it there.
Yeah.
Look at him, they're boring him.
Okay.
Report, is it DNA report?
Yes.
All right. Proceed.
Yes.
Mr.
So
Proceed.
I have 15-7-4 here. So there's human DNA consistent with 2 contributors on that item. Dominic Hernandez is not excluded, and Grizelda Hernandez and Ronald Burgos Aviles are excluded as a source of the major contributor of human DNA on that item. There was additional human DNA not attributed to Dominic Hernandez, but was of an insufficient quantity and quality for me to do anything with that additional DNA.
So what does that mean?
So that means that there's a major profile that I can attribute to someone or make a comparison with someone, and then there's very low level amounts of DNA that I don't feel comfortable using. It's just not, it's not enough to use it to make any sort of comparison. So I don't make a comparison to anybody. I just say that there's an insufficient amount to do anything with it.
Okay, so would you say you would need more DNA matter? Or
Correct. I would need a more robust profile. So
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say there was a major contributor, and that's who I made the comparisons to. So from the major component of that item, Dominic Hernandez is not excluded, and the other 2 individuals are excluded.
And again, when you mean not excluded, what does that mean?
That there's a match between. Well,
And it was on which item? Can you tell us again?
15-7-4, which is the Samsung cell phone, the back.
Now, how about if you look right here, same report. Can we go down maybe 1, 2 paragraphs?
Okay.
What do your findings show there?
So that one is, so if you go to the paragraph before that, it talks about the Cricket cell phone front. I don't know if you wanted to cover that as well. That's 15-7-2.
Yes.
So on that one, there was DNA consistent with originating from 2 or more contributors on that item. Dominic Hernandez and Grizelda Hernandez are each not excluded, which means that when I compared the profile on the item, which is a mixture profile, contributor of the DNA, and Ronald Burgos Aviles is excluded from that item. That's the Cricket cell phone front.
And then the following paragraph?
So the following paragraph is a match statistic, so it's basically giving the jury the weight of that evidence, because when I say not excluded, what does that mean? So the match statistic that we is called a random match probability. It means what is the chance going out into a random population of people. So the jury, for example, if I pulled one of you and developed your known genetic profile, what is the chance that your profile would also match that on the unknown sample? And so in this case, for those items that we discussed, the RMP, or the random match probability, is, and I'll give you the most conservative one, or the smallest number, would be 1 in 53 octillion people.
Can you explain that number in layman's terms for us?
So people like to think of it as like, what's the population of the world? That's typically what I get asked, which it has nothing to do with. It's a statistic. But there's 7 billion people on the planet, and this would be like many sets of decimals over from that. It's octillion. So I would say that this profile is very rare in a population. So it would be very hard to find another individual that had the same profile.
And then I'm approaching you to show you what's the State Exhibit 8. Can you tell me what that is?
So this is my Exhibit 16-3. It's labeled as 2 swabs from the tailgate of a truck with a license, or a driver's license plate number K66119.
Kilo number, what was that? K number what?
Kilo 66119.
Now, Your Honor, I'm going to request to publish what's been already as pre-admitted States Exhibit 305 to 17. So there's a number that's written on that envelope, I believe, bottom. Can you read that number?
Is it the state's exhibit number you're talking
No,
about?
there's
Or?
a little hashtag.
Oh, item number 1.
Okay, so this is States Exhibit 217, which is the back of the tailgate with some blood. It's been then marked number 1. What number is that right here?
1.
1. Okay. Is that the item you tested?
I don't know if that is the item I tested because I did not see that truck. So this is the
Baby
item.
Dominic
Whatever's
speaking
in the-
from above.
Okay, so where did the swabs come from?
The swabs are labeled as coming from the tailgate of truck K66119.
Thank you. And so I guess let's stick to these, the DNA, forensic DNA report where, and I'll go ahead and I'll point it out for the court. It is 16-3.1, swab kit from tailgate of truck K66119. Can you tell us what your findings were after doing your analysis?
Yes, so on that item, there was human DNA consistent with originating from 2 or more contributors. Dominic Hernandez is not excluded, and Grizelda Hernandez and Ronald Aviles are excluded as a source of the major contributor of human DNA on that item as well. There was additional DNA not attributed to Dominic Hernandez, but was of an insufficient quantity.
Okay, so 2 things. Dominic Hernandez was not excluded. Again, can you remind us what that means?
That there was a match between the known profile of Dominic Hernandez and that item.
And you said that there was more, but that you couldn't attribute it. Can you again remind us what that means?
Just that there was an insufficient amount for me to develop a profile suitable for comparison.
In other words, you would need more.
Correct.
Okay, so you testified that you had the genetic profiles kind of as a control where you can the DNA profile and then you use it when you analyze the items, and then you can use that control to determine whose biological sample was on which item, correct?
So I can get anybody's known profile, and I would be able to compare that known profile to the unknown profiles. So yes, I have known profiles taken from individuals that I'm then making comparisons to the unknown items in the case, with the objective of making a comparison between the two to see if someone is excluded or not excluded.
And you testified that he had Dominic's sample
Correct.
and Mr. Burgos' known sample.
Correct.
So specifically when it comes to Dominic Hernandez and Ronald Anthony Burgos Aviles, did you conclude anything after comparing their samples with one another?
Are you talking about in terms of like a paternity, or?
Yes, in regards to paternity, what did you conclude after comparing their samples?
So that's back on the first DNA report. So I was asked to biological parentage analysis between the three individuals. So we know that Grizelda Hernandez is the biological mother of Dominic Hernandez, and we know that children inherit half of their mom's DNA and half of their father's DNA. So what's left, I would subtract out the mother's contribution to his profile, and what's left are called obligate paternal alleles, which means that the biological father had to give those alleles to the child. And so with the obligate paternal alleles, you can compare any man's known profile that's an alleged paternal alleles. And so I made a comparison between Ronald Burgos's DNA profile and that of Dominic Hernandez, and Ronald Burgos cannot be excluded as a biological parent of Dominic Hernandez.
Cannot be excluded. There's that term again.
That's the same term, yes.
Same term as what we were discussing in previous, my previous questions.
Yes.
Okay. Can you explain to the jury what a combined parentage index is?
Yes, it's basically the same thing. It's like a likelihood ratio or statistic for the jury to understand what that means, that he's not excluded as a biological parent. Ability of parentage of greater than 99.9%.
Okay. I'm gonna approach you real quick. Just put on my gloves. So I'm gonna approach and show you as the mark of States Exhibit 46.3. Do you recognize this item? You don't have to say what it is, just to recognize it.
Yes.
Okay. And how do you recognize it?
I have my CIL on it, as well as my initials, the date, and the exhibit number.
Okay. I'm tendering to defense States Exhibit 46.3 for any objection. Defense has objections, Your Honor. I move to admit States Exhibit 43.
That's correct, Your Honor.
46 point.
46, what?
Point 3.
Point 3, thank you.
And can you tell us what that is?
So this is a swab box that would contain swabs inside of it.
Pertaining to who?
These are labeled as buccal swab samples collected from the inner mouth of Ronald Anthony Burgos.
Thank you. And there's another item that I want to show you. States Exhibit, it's marked as States Exhibit 35. Can you tell us what that is?
So this is labeled as a black and color belt keeper found on the driver's side floorboard of a Ford F-150 truck of Border Patrol Unit K66119.
And Your Honor, this is already dated. It's States Exhibit 35.
What was that? Was that 47, that bag, the big bag? The big bag is 47. Okay. There is no 46 yet, right? Because the 46.3.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know, we have 46.3, but there is no 46 yet. Thank you. You can proceed. Just want to make sure we don't get mixed up.
Well, Your Honor, real quick, I'm showing you what the market States Exhibit 46. Do you recognize it?
Yes.
How do you recognize it?
It has the CIL, my initials, the date, and the exhibit number on it.
Thank you. I'm tendering to defense for any objections what's been marked as States Exhibit 46, Your Honor.
Any objection, Mr. Payne?
No objection.
46, State 46 is in.
And before I get into your findings and all that, let me just show you the item.
And this is going to be which item, Mr. Rahid?
This is States Exhibit 35, Your Honor.
That's it. Back in there. This one? All right.
Do you recognize this item?
Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and request permission to publish it, Your Honor.
You may.
Is that the item you analyzed?
Yes.
Okay, and so I believe this one was an item in your first report.
Yes.
Can you just find it? Maybe
It's 11-8.
I believe this one is 11-8, correct. And so I'll go ahead and I'll push the the DNA report, okay? So, after conducting an analysis of this bellkeeper, what were your findings?
So that bellkeeper tested positive for the presumptive presence of blood during serology. I took 3 different swabs from that item, from 3 different blood stains. Because there's multiple people involved, usually I would take separate swabs just in case. So I retained 3 different swabs. So on the DNA report, they're itemized as 11-8.1, 2, and 3. Do you want me to talk about the results for the DNA?
What were your findings?
On all 3 of those swabs from that bellkeeper, Grizelda Hernandez is not excluded as a source of the DNA, and Dominic Hernandez and Ronald Burgos Aviles are excluded.
And again, there's that term again. Is it the same, when we mean by not excluded, it means the same as we were discussing before?
Yes.
Unless you're gonna use it again, put it back in the envelope, please.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely, yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Mr. Bach.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Ms. Ramos,
I don't like him.
direct examination, you were asked a question, you were shown a picture of an exhibit, and you were asked, is this the item you tested? And you said, I don't know, I tested what was in the envelope. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you didn't perform any of the evidence collection in this case, is that correct?
I did not.
And your results and the conclusions from them, as far as evidence to be believed by the jury, is only as good as the evidence collection process. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you're not here to tell this jury that the evidence collection was proper or perfect, or offer any information about the evidence collection, are you?
I have no opinion about the evidence collection, no.
And so, for instance, you testified about blood on the stroller seat belt buckle. You don't know anything about how the blood came to be on the stroller seat belt buckle, correct?
Your client.
I do not.
And you don't know how the stroller seat belt buckle was collected, correct?
I do not.
And you don't know what any of the people on the scene did with that stroller seat belt buckle prior to it even being
Objection, Honor,
collected,
speculation.
correct?
I do not.
Contamination is the biggest enemy of proper DNA analysis. Is that correct, or a fair thing to say?
That is fair, yes.
Okay. And you have no control over contamination at the scene, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And for instance, DNA transfer at the scene may cause your results to be meaningless. Is that correct?
My results to me are my results. I don't know what meaningless means to anybody else, but I'm speaking for the evidence that's submitted.
Tell him.
So you testified about a belt keeper possible match to Mr. Burgos Aviles. Is that correct?
No, I believe he was excluded from the belt keeper.
Okay. He was excluded from the belt keeper.
Correct.
He was a match to the blood that was purportedly collected from the back of the truck. Is that correct?
No, that is also not correct.
I apologize. Could you? What was the result of the testing regarding what is purported to be the blood from the back of the truck regarding Mr. Burgos Aviles?
So he was excluded as a donor of the on the belt keeper. Let me go back to the truck.
Baby Dominic left it there for justice.
That one's item 16-3.1. So from that item, Dominic Hernandez is not excluded, and Grizelda Hernandez and Ronald Burgos Aviles are excluded.
And so,
Highlight the blood of the baby's blood on the back of the truck, why don't you? That's good.
thank you for your patience. I might tend to
A couple questions, Your Honor. Just a couple.
I didn't realize he dropped that question.
Examination that you had also analyzed the fingernail clippings of the defendant, Mr. Burgos.
Yes, I received fingernail clippings from Ronald Burgos Aviles. I'll need a reminder of.
If it's on, I believe it's on your July 30th, 2018. If you look at 8.3-1-1, swab from right hand fingernails.
Yes.
And there's two. Then there's the left, and there's also right hand fingernail clippings.
Correct.
So I guess now let's go to. So let me just publish 518 to show the jury what I'm referring to, or the court.
Judge, objection. I believe this is beyond the scope of the cross-examination.
So, again, here it is in the July 30, 2018 forensic neurology report. You just testified that yes, you did have some fingernails, swabs, and clippings of the defendant.
Correct.
Now let's go to State's Exhibit 19, which is your forensic DNA report.
Okay.
Can you please tell us what your findings were in regards to those items?
So on the first item, which is the swab tip from the right-hand fingernails of Ronald Burgos Aviles, there was human DNA which could not be attributed to him, but was of an insufficient quantity to develop a profile for comparison.
Meaning there was DNA, not from him, just you didn't have enough to make a determination as to who could have been.
Correct. And the other two items in question, the left-hand fingernails of Ronald Burgos Aviles and the right-hand fingernail clippings, there was no human DNA foreign to Ronald Burgos Aviles in those items.
What hand was that again?
The no human DNA foreign to
Yes.
was the left-hand fingernails and the right-hand fingernail clippings.
No further questions, Your Honor.
No response, sir.
Thank you, Brother. You are excused. You may go back to the.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, and so we're going to end it there. So what I'll do is I will stream tomorrow. I'll set up the stream for tomorrow.
At times you can see that he's
Trying
trying to clean up.
Hold on. I don't want to see this because I'm gonna want to watch this like right now. He was excellent. We'll pick them up tomorrow because we got people that's going over to we got Tabis TV and Flesh of the Gods. They both are at 8, right, Loa? Tabis and Flesh of the Gods, I believe they're both at 8. Well, I'll pick up tomorrow where we left off today. I'll schedule a stream. And I'm shared everywhere. I thank the people on Twitter for watching over on Twitter. Thank you for tuning in. I would be so grateful if you could just go over to the YouTube. And since you watched it over there on Twitter, just give me a little thumbs up on YouTube. But thank you so much. To people that's watching on Facebook, thank you. The same thing goes. Please come over here and into the YouTube. Just put in Survivor Speaks. That's me. Hit the like button. And thank you guys for being here in the chat here on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So, of course, I end out my shows the same way each and every time because it wouldn't be me if I didn't, right? So I must remind you guys to make sure you get your mammograms, fill your boobies to make sure that you are all right. All right. And don't you dare let anyone ever come into your house and disturb the peace that passes all understanding. I am Survivor Speaks, and I'll see you guys in the next video or live stream. Peace. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. I appreciate you all.
Full cycle, I just might though just like a Michael. Mama gone now, I'm thinking death is now we entitled. And it was me versus me, them battles had to fight through. And when you way in the dark, them demons try to fight you. But you can't let them when you gotta see the damn light. Diabetes came from nowhere, messed up whole life. That's what I used to think, my mama helped me out. I got one dairy in this guy to make proud, don't count me out. Let's get it started, rest in peace my mama, I don't wanna talk. Fresh fit, who that little nigga, fresh the way he walk. New drip, I'm that one, do create